In this video, I'm going to walk you through why most runners fail when they try to build their own running plan or strength plan or injury rehab plan by themselves, and how you can avoid the DIY, do-it-yourself trap so you can run pain-free, stay consistent, and actually hit your goals without constantly starting over. I'm Dr. Ray Peralta, physical therapist and run coach, and over the past 10 years, I've helped hundreds of runners get back to running, whether they're running 5Ks or marathons, and do that and stay pain-free. So, big problem is that a lot of runners believe they can figure everything out on themselves. They think, I'm just going to download a free plan online. I'm just going to watch some YouTube videos. I'm going to use my Garmin or my Strava to tell me what to do. And I get it. There's more free information available now than ever before. You can find marathon plans. Heck, there's even AI who will write you a plan, right? Strength exercise, mobility, knee pain relief, shin splint advice, Achilles rehab, and running form tips all over the internet. But here's the problem. Information is not the same thing as implementation. See, most runners don't fail because they don't have enough information. They fail because they don't know how to apply that information to their body, their injury history, their schedule, their fitness, and their actual goal. And that's why do-it-yourself approach often breaks down. You might have the plan, but the plan doesn't know that your knee started hurting after your long run, or it doesn't know you missed 3 workouts because your life got busy. It doesn't know your hips drop when you're fatigued. It doesn't know how you're underfueling during your long runs. It doesn't know your strength program is missing the actual weak areas that are causing you pain. Right? It doesn't know that you're following a generic strength plan. And this is why so many runners stay stuck in the same boom-bust injury cycle. Download a plan, get motivated, push too hard, get hurt, and stop running, start over. If you want to copy my free resources and plans for running pain-free to train smarter without constantly getting hurt, I'm sharing inside my free running school community. Click the link in the description to join. So, step 1, stop relying on generic plans. Generic plans could work for some people, but they don't account for your injury history, strength, mobility, recovery schedule, and training edge. And in fact, only about some very small percentage, whether it's 8% or 9%, but regardless, it's a very small percentage of people who actually follow through and do a training plan properly and consistently enough. A majority of folks actually fail to achieve the objective of their goals. And sure, maybe they finished a race, or maybe they finished their marathon or half marathon, but oftentimes they're getting injured, they're getting hurt, right? They're following a plan that wasn't appropriate for their recovery level, right? You can't train the same as a 25, if let's say you're 4 years old, try to train like a 25-year-old with no injury history, unlimited recovery. You can't train the same like that person, right? If you're over 40 and you might be dealing with some knee pain, hip pain, some Achilles issues, or just years of inconsistent training. So instead of just asking, what plan should I follow? The better question is, what does my body actually need to handle this plan? That means looking at more than just mileage, looking at more than just running alone, because running is a one-dimensional sport, right? You need to look at strength, mobility, your form, right? There's also proper running form, right? You need to look at your lifestyle, right? Recovering, fueling, and how your body just responds to dealing with stress, both what running, but even stress in your life as well. So steps 2, accountability matters more than motivation. Most runners don't need more hype. They need structure. See, they need someone helping them make better decisions when training doesn't go perfectly. Research has shown that goal achievement often only a small percentage of people actually follow through on major goals, right? Maybe you set a major goal to run a sub-4 marathon or something. And again, we could debate about the actual percentage of people who actually finally hit the goal. My experience, I found talking to a lot of runners, when they do it yourself, very few of them actually hit the goal. They end up, compromising, doing like, I'm just going to finish, or I'm going to try again next year. Again, about 8% of people actually follow through on the goal, but the lesson is the same. Most people don't fail because they lack desire. They fail because they lack structure, feedback, and accountability. And that's where coaching becomes powerful. A coach helps you stay consistent when motivation drops. A coach helps you adjust a plan where your body gives feedback that maybe you need to change the plan. A coach helps you avoid turning a small ache into a full-blown injury. So step 3, stop trying to turn rehab pain with random exercise. This is a huge mistake runners make. They feel knee pain, so they try to research the best exercise for runners' knee. They feel Achilles pain, so they search the best Achilles stretches. They feel hip pain, and they start doing random hip drills. But pain is not always coming from where you feel it. Your knee pain might be coming from poor hip control, weak calves, limited ankle mobility, poor load management, or even doing too much speed work too soon, or a big rampant mileage. And that's why random exercises often fail. You don't need just random exercise. You need the right exercise in the right order at the right dosage. Right? Exercise is medicine, but you just can't do any exercise or random exercise. You have to do what's actually, the root cause of your issue. All right. So sometimes a knee pain may be coming from the back, for example. So let's look at coaching as problem solving, not just programming. A lot of runners think coaching just means someone writes you a training plan, like, oh, just give me a run plan. But if all you want is a plan, you can find one online. Real coaching is different. Real coaching wants the full picture. Your running history, your injury history, your current fitness, strength, mobility, your form, recovery, nutrition, lifestyle, stress, and your actual goal. The plan gets adjusted based on how your body responds. That's part of the plan that Garmin, Strava, or YouTube videos can't do for you, right? These generic things that you find online, that pre-made cookie cutter plan, that PDF plan that you find online, it's not going to be able to take into account your individual injury history, your recovery abilities, and so forth. So results. Once I stopped relying on generic DIY information and started using, I stopped thinking that the answer was just run more. I realized the real goal is to build a stronger, more durable runner. That means combining running, strength, mobility, recovery, and fueling, and making smarter adjustments. And this is also what I now help my runners do. They don't just get a running plan. They get a system that helps them understand what's actually holding them back. Because sometimes it's too much mileage. Sometimes it's not enough or strength training or doing the proper strength exercises. Poor recovery, or it could be under fueling, or it could be a mobility restriction, or a movement issue, a form issue, right? Motor control that they never noticed. And once we identify the real problem, stop guessing and start solving it. And that's how runners get out of the pain cycle. And that's how they stay consistent. And that's how they make progress without constantly breaking down. So I currently have a few spots open to work with runners who want to run pain-free, build strength, and train smarter without constantly dealing with injuries. So if you're tired of trying to figure everything out yourself and want a personalized plan for your running, strength, mobility, and injury prevention, there's a link to apply in the description. First come, first serve. So just to recap, right, free information is helpful, but it's not the same as personalized implementation. Most runners don't need random plans. They need structured feedback and accountability to actually hit their goals, right? If you don't really care about running, you can keep winging it. You could be a hobby jogger, and it's okay to be a hobby, to have running as a hobby. But if you really want to do your best, right, and you've been struggling to, maybe hit your paces, you keep getting hurt every time and getting injured every time, realize that coaching could be what actually the next level unlocks. You're not wasting years of trial and error to try to figure it out on your own, right? If you keep getting struck, hurt, plateaued, stuck, the problem may be that you're trying to solve a problem with generic advice, and that, yeah, yes, is it possible to eventually figure out, but it may take, again, years of trial and error, right? If do it yourself hasn't worked for yourself yet, maybe it's time to stop guessing and start training with a system built around your body, your goals, and your life, right? Consider actually getting expert help, get a coach, right? Ideally, someone who understands how to work with runners, but if you also be getting injured, someone who understands how to work with runners and deal with the injury rehab or injury performance side of things, so you could enjoy running without getting hurt all the time. And that's what a run coach physical therapist can really help you out with. Anyways, if you found this useful, hit the like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.